boy, oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, and this is my review for The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 7, also known as the series finale. So dear viewers, if you don't mind, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. So, I have literally just this very moment finished watching the final episode of Season 2 for The Last of Us, and here are my spoiler-free thoughts on the whole thing. I'm going to try to be as vague as possible. Oh my god, the cliffhanger ending that this episode finishes on, if you've not played the video game, is probably going to piss you right off. This season has been nothing if not controversial with certain decisions that it's made, certain casting choices, and I do still feel that a lot of the negativity that's aimed at this season is negativity that was aimed at the video game. More so because of Bella Ramsey, unfortunately, who I still think is absolutely fantastic, especially in this episode, though it does change up a couple of things, certain key scenes from the video game that I'm not really going to talk about, a couple of additional lines of dialogue here, a death that happens in the video game that doesn't happen here, and I think I understand why. But the main question is, was this a satisfying season finale? Well, that's a very complicated question, dear viewers, and let me tell you why. Having played the video game many times, I know exactly where the story is going. In fact, before the season even started, I predicted where the season would end, and I was absolutely bloody correct. More or less. So yes, the wait for Season 3 is going to be quite agonizing for me, but I know what happens next. But I must admit I'm rather scared for what other people are going to think, especially given the cliffhanger I was talking about earlier, which, without giving anything away, is not something that's really alluded to in the video game. At least I don't remember it being alluded to. Maybe it was, and I'm just so used to continuing on the video game from that particular point that I completely forget that it actually does what this show does in the cliffhanger. I know that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but when you watch the episode for yourself, which of course I highly recommend you do, you'll probably know a little bit more about what I'm talking about. So a lot of the strengths in this episode came from a lot of the strengths from this season in general, that being the performances, the decision to alter certain things, add scenes here that were not in the video game, expand on certain things that again were not in the video game, subvert my expectations. In fact, speaking of subverting expectations, there's let's just call it a sequence that occurs towards the end of the episode, which absolutely did not happen in the video game, and I must admit that when this sequence started, I started to lose my shit. I really didn't know what they were doing. Again, this is not something that's going to be clear unless you played the video game and then watch this episode, and then you'll know the sequence I'm talking about. Because it's not in the video game. At least not the way that it's presented here in this episode. We also get to see a couple of very small little things that hadn't happened in the video game yet at this particular point in the story, which I appreciated very much, especially given the characters that we get to see in these inclusions. Again, I'm being very vague so I don't ruin it for you. But let's return to that big question. Is this a satisfying season finale? Well, I'm really going to go back and forth on this. Because obviously I know from a story point of view what happens next. Obviously I don't know what changes they're going to make. And if you've not played the video game, I really think this finale is... I think it's going to annoy you. Just a little bit. Maybe more than a little bit. Maybe I'm gonna start seeing videos all over YouTube now about people bitching and whining and complaining. But again, that's not anything new. They've been doing that since this season started. They'll probably do it all the way leading up to the release of Season 3. They'll probably continue to do it all throughout Season 3, especially given the direction that Season 3 is going to go. And I'll just say this, certain characters will not be in Season 3. That I can guarantee. Absolutely 100%. There are certain characters that are in this season, Season 2, who will not, I repeat, not be in Season 3. And I think that's going to be controversial. But of course, if you played the video game, you'll know exactly why these characters are probably not going to appear in Season 3. Especially given that they've already announced that it's probably going to take a Season 4 to finish the storyline for The Last of Us Part 2. So I can definitely, almost 100% guarantee Season 3 is going to focus on a character that people might not enjoy the season focusing on. Anyway, that's enough vagueness. Did I enjoy this finale? I absolutely bloody did. Did I enjoy the season as a whole? I absolutely bloody did. Did I agree with absolutely every single second of every single episode in this season? No, but I'll save those thoughts for when I do a complete review for the entire season. So there you have it, my initial thoughts for the season finale of The Last of Us Season 2. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then feel free to give me a thumbs down. But please remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Are you still here? Oh, you must have really enjoyed this video then. In that case, you had better subscribe to the channel and check out our other content. Otherwise, you're a booby pants, and no one wants to be a booby pants.